segment, we're ready to go ahead and look for Pycharm, download it, and install it. So notice on Google, I just typed Pycharm, so I'm going to hit enter. And there you have it. So your first link here is about Pycharm by JetBrains. I'm just going to go ahead and go to download Pycharm. So I'm going to click here. Okay, and notice now you have two versions. You have the professional version that offers you a free trial. That is not the one we will download for this course. We're going to go for the community one, which is free. It's open source, and that will be more than adequate for what we're going to be needing for our future exercises. So I'm going to click here and click on download. And you could see here right away you could save it and run. I will click on run as soon as it's done. So as you can see here, I have a progress. I'm at 37, 40%, etc. Okay, that depends on your internet speed, so just be patient. Okay, so let me just minimize this. It will come up in a minute. Still running a scan. Okay. Okay, so we have it. Let me just minimize this again. There you have it. So it's going to come up to the screen. Okay. It says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? And that's Pycharm, and it's a .exe file. Remember, your computer, when it sees a .exe, it's a little careful because it might be a virus or something. Now we know where we got this from, so we're good. So I'm just going to say yes. And let it do its thing, and there you go. So now we're ready to do the install. All right, so this will step us through the Pycharm Community Edition install. I'm just going to click next here. And as you can see here, it's telling me where it will install this IDE. I am fine with that under Program File, JetBrains, Pycharm Community Edition, whatever the version is. If you want to change that, you're welcome to do so. You could browse and then change the directory where you want it to be. You can see here how much space is required and how much space I have available. By the way, this Windows 10 that I have is a virtual machine, so I have limited space. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Yes, I want to create a desktop shortcut. Absolutely. Do I want to update the path variable? Restart will be needed if you're doing that. Sure, why not? Update context menu, add open folders as projects. Yes. Create associations. Don't. I mean, yes, it's convenient, but what if you have a file that has a .py as an extension and it's not necessarily to be used by Pycharm? So leave it alone. Leave this one alone. In case you have another IDE that you want to have the flexibility to open a .py with it, and it doesn't automatically open Pycharm. So I'll leave that alone. So I'm just going to click Next here. Yes, from JetBrains, and let's go ahead and install. Okay, so we'll extract all these files, decompress them. It will take a little bit of time. So just sit there patiently. Excellent. I want to manually reboot later. That's what I will do. Notice now on my desktop, I have an icon. It says PC on it. That's for Pycharm, so you can run it from there. I'm just going to go ahead and hit finish here. And let's go ahead and test out Pycharm quickly. So I'm just going to double click on Pycharm. So do not import settings. We don't need to import settings. This is okay if you had, let's say, another version of Pycharm installed already and you want to import some of that. We're okay. We don't need to do any of that. So and there you have it. So now we have an interface here where we can start a new project. So anytime you want to start something new, you will start with a new project. Okay. Now notice here, if you have an existing project, you will click on open and then start editing your new project. And this is something that's going to be interesting for our course. We will use VCS, okay, to get files from our centralized repository, especially when we're working with other group members, right? So with using Git with GitHub. So this would be the next exercise we're going to be doing later on to synchronize our work with other people. But right now, let's go ahead and just purely start a new project. So let me just click here. And notice it automatically gives it a name. Now you could change that name to whatever you want. And it's already setting up where it will store it. So I am just going to call it 151 Proj1. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and create it. Okay, we don't need any of these tips. Just get close. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, so let's go to, let me just close these guys here, where it says CS Proj1, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new file. Now remember, whatever is coming up in here, don't panic. This is just an example. And we're going to create our own. So I'm just going to go ahead and notice, let me do this again. I'm going to click here, right mouse click, and say new, file, and then let's call it CS 151 Proj1 test 1 if you want. Okay, and it will automatically save it as so you could tell it what kind of file first of all you want it to be. I want it to be a Python file. So let's see here what we have. And so I want it to be a Python file. There you have it. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. Okay, so now I'm in that file. And let's go ahead and test it out. Let me just clean up a little bit here. And let's type print hello there. Okay, now to run this, you could right mouse click here and run it from here. And it says run file in Python console. So let's go ahead and do that. It's a little slow on my virtual machine here. There you go. I think this is what's slowing down. Windows Defender Firewall has blocked some features of allow access. That's probably my window is my Windows is complaining. We just install this, so let it run. Here you go. Now we're good. So if you get that, don't panic. And notice now we get hello there. So it's working.